A very good afternoon, all of you. Welcome to Super Coaching UPSC by Testbook. This is Venkatesh, your faculty for geography. Good afternoon, Priyanka. Good afternoon. As you all know, last week we have completed first aspect of the discussions of all the previous year questions asked from the subtopic of geography for the last 25 years. We had an understanding of what are the major areas which we need to concentrate upon. What is the usual trend of UPSC asking questions about from the topic of agriculture? We have discussed about all these things. Now let us continue the same aspect, the second aspect of discussion of the topic, right? So what are the key things we have discussed in the last one? If you remember, one of the aspect, distribution of crops. What is their major areas? What are their major production? What are the variations of the trends happening is another important aspect of the crops which are grown in India. They'll be asking a question on that. Keeping this into consideration, this is the theme of today's discussion. In the last session, we have discussed types of agriculture, major growing trends of agriculture, that was part 1. This is part 2, right? So without much wastage of time, let's try to understand about all these dimensions. And another aspect I also told you, all these questions are a mix of geography, environment, economy. Okay, so with these ideas, let us try to understand. So let's start with the basic questions. Now you see this one. Try to answer this question. Which one of the following is the correct sequence in the decreasing order? I think one more confusion many of you are having. Which is increasing order, which is decreasing order? Definitely this is the decreasing order. So this is small, big to small. Big to small, try to answer it from the production. Yes, good afternoon, Vikas Tyagi. Good afternoon. Right. Right. Try to answer this. Yes, good afternoon, Gayatri. Yeah, very quickly here, come on. So if you see this one, which one of the following is the correct sequence in the decreasing order of production? The decreasing order of production, the correct answer should be, which one is the one? Let's try to see the things. You see, India is the, before we get the answer, based on the present one, India is the second largest producer of rice, wheat, sugarcane, cotton, groundnut, fruits and vegetables. And we are the largest producer of pulses and jute. This is the base. And if you see among the rice, wheat and all, you see the final estimates which are being provided from the economic survey, you can get the real data, the exact data and all. You'll observe that the total food grain production in the country is estimated at a record 3,296.87 lakh tons, and in some of the books it will be in million tons, say something like 329.6 million tons. The same one, lakh tons and million tons. Remember one dimension of the unit so that you will never confuse. So this is the 329.6 million tons, which is 14 million tons highest, right? 14 million tons more than the production of the food grains happened from last year. So if you see from this data, the total food grains is 329 million tons. 329 million tons. Rice is 135 million tons. Wheat 110 million tons. Core cereals 57 million tons. Now you see from this order, rice, wheat and core cereals. Go back to our topic. What is the question? Rice, wheat and core cereals. This is rice, wheat and core cereals. Then the pulses, how much we have? Pulses, you see, 26 million tons. So with that, definitely you'll get the right answer as D. Rice, wheat, core cereals and pulses. It is not wheat and rice, it is rice and wheat. Of course, if you see 10-15 years ago, maybe there might be a variation. As of now, which is dominant? Understand this. Within rice and wheat, the dominant is rice, then comes the wheat, then comes the cereals, and then comes the pulses. Have you got this one? These are all the basic facts which we have. See, these are the facts which are given from the latest estimates as per the PIB. So one important aspect before we go and approach the prelims exam, this data is very, very important. Latest data, there will not much variation. It will be the same trend which will be continuing. Okay, you will not find much amount of variations. Right. Let's go to the next one now. So whether it is PIB, what is the sources of getting this data? PIB, economic survey. At least, what are the major variety of crops grown in India? Which are the most important one? Definitely we should have an observation. Which is the most, which is least, and all those kind of things. So this is a very, very expected question, and a probability of a topper getting it right is quite high. Another aspect I always tell you in the exam, during this PYQ discussion and all, what is this? Probability. What is happened to this? Probability of topper or a qualifier who qualifies for this exam getting it right, definitely it is high. They won't miss such kind of questions. There are certain things which you might not be aware, but this is the minimum expectation they would be having for sure, and they would definitely get it right. 90% they would get it right. Even a qualifier might get it wrong, 10%, but we are not going with that perspective. Ultimately, it is a competitive exam. We try to understand what is the expectation level we need to have. You should know about this. See, once again, you should know about this, not today, maybe at the time of the exam. If you are knowing also, it is good, no? As long as your knowledge curve is improving and growing further, it is good enough. Then you can see here the other ones. You see oil seeds, groundnuts, soybean, rapeseed, mustard, sugarcane, cotton, jute, tur, gram, all those kind of things are observations. And whenever you study about the economic survey data, any significant variations, they would be definitely discussing that. That's why reading an economic survey, understanding about those events is a must and should before we go to the prelims exam. That is a must and should. Let's go to the next one. Try to answer this. Try to answer this very quickly. Right. Now, if you see this, which one of the following group of plant domesticated in the new world and introduced into the old world? Now, we all know which is the old world. Say India, part of the old world. USA, new world. Some of the equatorial areas, new world. So, which one were introduced in the new world were domesticated in the new world and introduced into the old world. So that means the new world has got that knowledge into the new world has transferred its knowledge to the old world. USA getting anything from USA and the world agriculture domesticated from that. That is the thing. Now, if you see it here, a common point. When you have studied history, don't we know about cotton? India is known for that. When it is the ancient history, Egypt is known for that. India is known for that. So definitely wherever the cotton is there, this should be ruled out, right? So cotton, you have to rule this out. Cotton, coffee, sugarcane, rule this one, right? Then here also you find cotton, rule this one. So that's the thing. Then you see tobacco, cocoa, rubber, rubber, coffee, wheat. Now you see this one. When you talk about this question, tobacco, cocoa, rubber, cocoa, rubber, tobacco, you know it, cocoa, you might be knowing that as well, which is used in the, tobacco, cocoa is used in what? In the chocolate. Ghana is very, very important. Cocoa, it is from the country of Ghana, Africa. Rubber, mostly from the equatorial regions, very, very popular, came to India. Tobacco, cocoa, rubber came to India through Europeans in the late medieval or the early modern era. These are the group of plants that were domesticated in the New World and introduced into the Old World. All of them originated in South America, which we call it is a process called Columbian exchange. Columbian exchange. It's a widespread transfer of plants, animals, culture, human populations, technology, diseases, ideas between the Americas, West Africa and the Old World during the 15th, 16th century. Sugarcane is also the oldest crop introduced to India by Austronesian traders. Rubber was native to Brazil. Cotton and wheat were cultivated in India since ancient era. Now, regardless of knowing about this Columbian exchange and all, if you have this basic idea, cotton, you should have eliminated B and C. And if you have studied certain thing about, and based on the things, wheat is also a very traditional thing in India. You should have eliminated this. You are automatically getting the answer as right. Got this? Right. That's good. Let's move to the next question. Now try to answer this. Right. Now if you see this one, you see this. With reference to the pulse production in India, consider the following sentences. Black gram, urad dal, black gram or urad can be cultivated both as kharif and rabi crop. So you need to understand which is a kharif and which is a rabi crop. That is one another aspect of question is regularly being asked. Green gram alone accounts for nearly half of the pulse production in India. If really green gram alone accounts for 50% of the pulse production, our understanding about that should have been increased much more. We should have known about that. So that is not the case. It is not green gram alone account for nearly half. It is only around 35 to 40%. This is right. This is wrong statement. This is right statement. In the last 3 decades, while the production of kharif pulses has increased, the production of rabi pulses has decreased. Now you see how they are asking about from the kharif pulses. Now the question is asking about last 3 decades. Definitely this is also wrong. The second statement is wrong. You should have eliminated this. The right answer is automatically A. So now look at the observations, how they are asking the trends. So where are they grown? Okay, when are they grown? What are the recent variations? The third statement is about the variations. No, this is how they are asking about the questions. So you have to learn from this. Where are they grown? What is the time of the season? Right? How are they grown? All those kind of things. If you see, let me try to explain. Pulses are grown in all the three seasons. Kharif, Rabi, Zaid. Hence, statement 1 is correct. They are grown in all the things. The gram is the most dominant pulse with a 40 variation of around 30 to 45, 35 to 40 percentage. Maybe here I'm saying 40. The general variation is 35 to 40. And then you'll find the turgram, the arhar dal, the dal which is regularly being served to us every day. Some of you might not like it, but it is good for health. Okay. Then the urad and the moong at around 8 to 10 percentage each. So definitely you see, gram is the one which is the most dominant variety. Then the production of pulses for both Rabi and Kharif seasons has increased in the last 3 decades. This is another keyword. Why it is increased? Can anyone tell me why the pulses has significantly increased? If you see in the last 3 decades, that indicates especially after 91, after 90s, 92, 2000, 2000 to 19, 2000 to 2010 and then to 20 and all, the last 30 years, we are witnessing the impact of the liberalization, privatization, globalization reforms, which have increased the consumption nature of our country and which has also moved many of our population, which is maybe sustainable in nature in the sense that they're only focusing on basic carbohydrates. We are going towards protein rich food. The shift has happened because of India's poverty has decreased significantly, which led to they focusing on good food for the body. So they are moving from the traditional food grains towards the diversification of the basket. That is when the pulses have increased, and to meet that, we have increased our production both in the Kharif and the Rabi season. That is the reason. You see how much background is there for one question about a certain thing. This is right, they are asking about the questions. That will give you a perspective of not just agriculture, but also the dimensions of agriculture linking with our economy. Right? Yes, liberalization, privatization. Then you see, basically, India is the largest producer. 25% of the global production of the pulses is from India. Consumer, 27%. That means what? We also import. Though we are the largest producer, it is not sufficient. We are still importing. We import pulses as well. Pulses account for around 20% of the area under food grains and contribute around 7 to 10% of the total food grains. Even now, there is a shift needed from the present food grains which we grow excessively and shift a certain aspect, not everything, certain part of the food grains towards the pulses. That is very much needed. From the food grains, there is a need for shift, especially from rice, wheat towards pulses. Still, we need that. Though pulses are grown in both Kharif and Rabi seasons, Rabi pulse contribute more than 60%. This is another keyword. This is very, very important for us to learn. Then Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka are the top 5 pulse producing states in India. Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh and Karnataka. This is also a keyword. I want you to remember the ones which I have highlighted here for you to get the understanding of the major trend of pulses. Right. Let's move to the next question. Try to answer this. This is the trend of the last few years only. The crop is subtropical in nature. The hard frost is injurious to it. It requires 210 frost-free days of climate. 50 to 100 centimeters of rainfall, well-drained soil capable of retaining moisture, ideally suited. Talking about the black soil, no, well-drained soil capable of retaining moisture. Which crop is the one? It is about the cotton. The moment you have said 210 frost-free days, subtropical in nature, capable of retaining moisture, all this indicate about cotton. That is how the questions can be asked. So always talk about the ideal climatic conditions. Ideal climatic conditions. Those are very, very important for us to learn. Right. Ideal climatic conditions, the right answer is cotton. So let's move forward to the next question. Now you see here, region which is known for, consider the following pairs. Region well known for the production of Kinnor, Mewat, Coromandel, Erkanet, mango, soybean. Which of the above are correctly matched? Try to see it. Which of the following are correctly matched? What is the right answer? If you see this one, consider the following pairs. The right answer here is D, none of the above. Kinnor, Himachal Pradesh, known for apples. Mewat, Haryana, a significant variety of agriculture and some allied activities are grown, not much of a dominant. Coromandel Coast, Tamil Nadu, popular for rice. Erkanet, popular in South India. Production in Karnataka, Kerala and all. Mango, definitely Mewat is not the things. Mango, you have a variety of countries, variety of states in India which are known for mangoes. Ratnagiri mangoes, okay. The Banginpalli mangoes of Andhra and Telangana. The Alfonso mangoes of Kerala. So many varieties. The soybean, popular in Maharashtra. So the right answer is correctly matched, none of the above. You can see here all the things I have given. Top producers of soybean are Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra. Coromandel is not famous for soya. UP is famous for mango. Mewat is not famous. Erkanet is confined to Karnataka, Kerala, Assam. Kinnor. This is the thing. Shall I move to the next question, all of you? Let's go to the next question now. Now, this is another approach. This is very important for this year. Come on, answer it. So if you see, eastern coast of India produces more rice than western coast. Why? That's what the assertion says. And the reason for that, they say, is eastern coast receives more rainfall than the west coast. First of all, you have to agree with the option A with the assertion. And if the assertion is right, then tell whether the reason is right or wrong. If you see, eastern coast of India, that is the states like Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, the Krishna Godavari Delta, the Kaveri Delta of Tamil Nadu, compared with the western coast, that is the regions of Karnataka, Kerala, Maharashtra, Which one will produce more amount of rice? Definitely, if you see it, it is definitely eastern coast produces more, right? This statement is right. And why it is so? It is not because of rainfall. If you see, western coast receives more amount of rainfall than eastern coast. The reason is you have significant deltas, fertile soil, good amount of irrigation, right? Good amount of irrigation, government policies, the green revolution which was provided in the regions of Krishna, Godavari, Kaveri Delta, availability of labor are the reasons. So definitely not the thing. The reason is R is false. Among the thing R is false is this. The right answer is C. Look at the approach. Conceptual linkages, very, very needed. So let's go to the next question. Eastern coast receives more rainfall. This statement is wrong. Western coast receives more rainfall than east coast. No. We have the southwest monsoons giving good amount of rainfall here. You have the tropical evergreen forests of along the south of the portions of the rain bearing winds. The rain bearing winds you do find along the Western Ghats decent amount of vegetation. So definitely there is good rainfall area. Let's move to the next one. You see here, this is where you will find decent amount of rainfall. This is where you don't find decent amount of rainfall, and these are the areas of delta. The Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, Mahanadi of Odisha, all these provide decent amount of deltas. Let's go to the next question. The next question. Consider the following crops: cotton, groundnut, maize, mustard. Which of the following above are kharif crops? This is another approach. Kharif, rye, maize. Which are the varieties of kharif crops, rabi crops? It's a frequently very one asked, regularly being asked, the kharif crops. Now, if you see here among all the things, it is the mustard which is a rabi crop. So the answer is B. 1, 2, 3. Cotton, groundnut, maize. Cotton, maize, groundnut, very much grown in the kharif seasons. If you see this, the cropping seasons, you see here, the rabi season, October, December, sown and harvested April, June. The crops are wheat, barley, peas, gram, mustard in the states of Punjab, Haryana and all. Now, if you see it here, wheat, we anyhow know it is a rabi crop. It's a very easy question. Nobody would be asking that as a dominant one. They'll be asking the tricky ones. If you see it here, the mustard is only grown here. Then if you in kharif, rice is grown here. Then you should also know that rice is grown in all the 3 seasons in India. 3 seasons, right? So wherever agriculture live, maybe in certain areas it is kharif, but in certain areas it is all the 3 seasons. So this is very, very important, which are 3 seasonal crops. So sometimes that approach is very much needed, like rice is grown in all the 3 seasons. So this is a basic idea you need to have. Then one key thing I'm trying to tell you to understand, right? Try to understand which are ones which are from rabi crop. So automatically unique rabi crops, wheat is one, barley is one, mustard is one. Wheat, barley, mustard are the unique rabi crops which need less temperatures. Once you find that uniqueness of any crop, it is easier for us to remember. And when it is easy to remember, it is always the probability of we getting it right in the exam increases. What is the probability of a topper getting this question right in the exam? Is squarely high, because they do study about this aspect. So probability of qualifier or a topper getting right is fairly high. I want you to know that once it is high, you cannot do mistakes here. or there is a significant gap which would be attained, which is very, very difficult for us to move over the gap, move over such kind of gaps. Right. Let's go to the next question. Which one is not clear? This one is not clear. Okay, we will change that. I'll give you a new content as part of the PDF. I'll get you a new content. Don't worry. Let's go to the next question. Try to answer this. Ajit, you'll get that thing in the new aspect. Don't worry. Right. Now, if you see this, try to answer. This is another keyword. If you see the right point, you'll get it right. Try to check one important aspect. You would see it. You would get this right. Right. If you see it here, barley, rice, millets, tea. Just now I told you barley. Barley, what did I tell you? I told you it is a cool climate. Now, which are the options with cool climate here? Hot and dry, warm and moist, hot and moist. Maybe around 2. Let us leave that. Let us see. Millets. 2023 was regarded as the International Year of Millets. Why? They can grow anywhere with poor soils, climate resistant and all these things. So among the options, very, very less climate, poor soil, dry climate, no rainfall and hot temperature, millets would be very, very suitable. In fact, millets can grow in areas where there is poor soil, where there is poor water availability and where there is decent temperature and where there is a variation, that is the climate change impact. Millets are more suitable to such kind of things. So are very, very resistant to climate change. So that's why millets are very, very popular, hot and dry climate. C1 should be definitely our options. If C1 is the options, you should eliminate these two. Then tea. We know that tea is a warm and moist climate with a decent amount of altitude, right? Tea is a warm climate, tropical to subtropical, Assam, tropical to subtropical, moist climate, decent amount of rainfall with high altitude. So high altitude, T should be there. So D should be 3. Now C1, D3, there is only one option. This is the right answer. A2, A barley, rice. You see hot and moist climate with rich soil. Where do you see rice grown? Southern India. Definitely hot. You know that it is a rice water intensive crop and it's a rich soil like alluvial. That's how you get the answer right. Okay, let's go to the right next option. Right, next one. Now see, there are no plantations in any African country. Now Africa is a very, very big continent. Calling it as there are no plantations in any one country, that's a huge statement. Then there has to be some substantial fact. Excuse me, there has to be some substantial fact to it, right? So if you see it here, there are no plantations in any African country is wrong. Tea plants need fertile soil with high humus, that is right. So A is wrong. So automatically this is right. Having no plantations, the entire continent, that's a very, very big statement to say. Very, very big statement. You do find tea is cultivated in some places like Kenya and all. Yes. Then you see this one. Now this is not a current affairs, it's an old current affairs. The relevance of this question now is not there. Just maybe this is one question which you can ignore, but anyhow, let's explain. Let us help us to understand this. Now, if you see this question, in India, cluster bean is traditionally used as a vegetable or an animal feed, but recently the cultivation of this has assumed significance. Which one of the following statement is correct in this context? The gum made from its seeds is used in the extraction of shale gas. The cluster bean, which is traditionally used as a vegetable or a animal feed, has used as a adhesive in the extraction of shale gas. So that is why it has become very, very popular. So that is then people from Rajasthan, they made decent amount of money with this cluster bean. Some of the farmers, not everyone, only from Rajasthan. I'm just giving a perspective, right? So this is the thing. So in the extraction of the shale gas, which is in the deeper portions of the surfaces, when you have this hydraulic frame, fracking and all these kind of things, there is an adhesive gum which is needed, and that cluster bean is used for that as an adhesive agent. So that is why you would see that it is useful here. That is the option B is the right one. Now you see here, look at this question. Okay, try to answer this. Take your time, 1 minute, and then you can answer it. Though coffee and tea are cultivated on hill slopes, there is some difference between them regarding their cultivation. In this context, consider the following statements. Coffee plant requires a hot and humid climate of tropical areas, whereas tea can be cultivated in both tropical and subtropical areas. You see here, coffee plant can be cultivated in hot and humid tropical areas, whereas tea can be cultivated in both tropical and subtropical. If you see coffee, mostly from Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu. Tea, it is grown in South India as well as in Assam. So that indicates tropical and subtropical. Definitely it is right. Right? So it is right. Coffee is propagated by seeds, then the way you produce it. And tea is propagated only by stem cuttings. No. This is wrong. The answer is one only. If you see all the coffee thing, tea is grown in both in tropical and subtropical areas. That in the tea, the cuttings are planted straight or slightly slanted so that the leaf does not touch the soil. And you see that both the coffee and the tea plants are propagated from seeds and also from root cuttings. So from the roots of the plant and also from the seeds, that will help in propagating the crop. So definitely both the statements, the statement 2 is wrong, right? So that is about the thing. And you see here, these are the different dimensions. Sometimes they can ask you. So this is about the coffee. Statement 1 is right. Move forward to the next one. Try to answer this. A state in India has the following characteristics. Its northern part is arid and semi-arid. Central part produces cotton. Cultivation of cash crops is predominant over food crops. Cultivation of cash is predominant over food. Now you see, which of the following states has all the above characteristics? Now, you know what is a cash crop and what is a food crop. Now, cotton, cash crop. You can see rice, food crop. Tobacco, you don't cultivate it to eat it, right? Definitely it is a cash crop. So you need to understand certain crops which are basically meant for production of, for as a food crop or as a commercial cultivation. So among the things, cotton, central part produces cotton, known for cotton. Now which area is known for cotton? Then, and among that you see here, northern part is arid and semi-arid. The northern part is arid and semi-arid, which is very, very popular here is Gujarat. If you see the Gujarat, definitely cotton is produced. Northern part is very arid, the regions of north and all, because of the rainfall and all the variations here. And definitely cash crops are dominant here than the food crops. Whether if you go to Tamil Nadu, rice is dominant, Andhra Pradesh rice is dominant, food crop, you cannot have it, and that is the major variation. Okay. So you can see here, this is the area, decent amount of cotton, and also it is a very much dry area. So it is about Gujarat. Let's go to the next one now. Now you see, it's a very, very old question. Many of you were not even born, I guess, right? Beyond Gen Z. Huh? So if you see this one, look at the approach. The introduction of Bt cotton. Insect-resistant transgenic cotton has been produced by inserting Bt gene. When you talk about the genetic engineering, the variations and all, you have inserted a Bt gene into a cotton so that it will become resistant to certain insects. And how do you think Bt is derived? From the bacterium. So this is how they are asking. It was a trend and MCQ and an important MCQ of that year, no, not now. So definitely both are true and correct. His explanation is A. Right. Okay, so that's how they can ask you about the questions about the past. You should know how the bacterium, new kind of anything about gene editing, anything about genetic engineering, anything about new technologies in agriculture. All these things becomes important for us to understand. Let's go to the next question. The lower Gangetic plain The lower Gangetic plain is characterized by humid climate with a high temperature throughout the year. Which one of the following pair of crops is most suitable for this region? Definitely you can see it here as paddy and cotton. You see, lower Gangetic plain, that means you are talking about West Bengal, and you know West Bengal is known for jute, and it is also known for rice because of the availability of good rainfall, good temperature, good availability of water through the surface waters and all. Paddy and jute, very, very popular all along the Hooghly Delta, the Hooghly River. Jute is cultivated, right? So paddy and jute. The next question. Now you see this one. Now, if you see this one, with reference to Indian agriculture, which one of the following statements are correct? Is correct. Only one statement is correct. Now you see, Rice occupies about 34% of the gross cropped area in India. India accounts for about 15% of the total area under rice in the world. Share of pulses in the gross cropped area or at the national level has doubled in the last 2 decades. About 90% of the area under pulses in India is rain-fed. Which is correct? 90%. This one. A is correct. If you see this one, 90% of area is under rain-fed. The spread of the dry farming in the regions where the average rainfall is less than 75 centimeters, the rainfall is scanty, uncertain, and where hot and dry conditions prevail, and almost decent amount, 68 to 70% is around this. And among this majority of the area, we do find pulses, millets has grown, pulses and millets. Coarse grains, maize, millets, bajra, pulses, groundnut, oil seeds, and fodder are the ones which are grown. And there is a basic difference. Rain-fed farming, dry land farming, there is a basic difference. You see, dry farming is a production of crops without irrigation areas where rainfall is less than 750 millimeters or 75 centimeters. This is where we call it as dry farming, where crop failures are more frequent than and you see that the growing season is less than 200 days. And you see dry land farming, it indicates cultivation of crops areas rainfall above 750 millimeters. Dry land farming, slight variation they see, slight variation. And rain-fed farming is without irrigation in general. There is a slight variation without irrigation. So there is a slight variation. Often dry land farming, dry farming, rain-fed farming and all, we interchange the words, but there is a basic definition to these kind of 3 things. Right. So this is the thing, and keeping this into consideration, you can see this one. You can see this one. Right. Let's go to the next one. This is the question. Consider the following crops of India: groundnut, sesamum, pearl millet. Which of the following are predominantly rain-fed crops? Groundnut, sesamum, pearl millet. Just now we have seen all these are part of the dry land areas 1, 2, 3. So this is about the rain-fed farming. This is a very, very important dimension. Now try to answer this one. Now you see how is the dimensions. Almost entire thing is about distribution, trends, places, and all those things. Now, if you have practiced it, you should have definitely got certain kinds of, there is this trend of repetition. I have kept this question deliberately as an older one, so that repetition, how does it help you? You see here, hot and humid climate. I told you, mustard is around a rabi crop. Definitely it cannot be hot. So it is ruled out. Then, when you see about this, annual rainfall and a good amount of rainfall, hill slopes, that too hill slopes, temperature is not much higher. All these are characteristics suitable for Kerala, which are suitable for pepper. Cotton, we know the difference. 210 frost-free days is needed. We don't need such kind of things. So keeping this into considerations, definitely we can say that this is a very, very important aspect. And if you see from that, altitude and all these things, what do you say? Kerala, known for spices, pepper is grown there. (210 frost-free days), that is when you will find cotton. This is around 200 centimeters of rainfall. Rainfall is different. More rainfall. Where do you find more rainfall? Definitely not in Maharashtra, no. Definitely not in Gujarat, no. So cotton cannot be here. Which are the regions which are known for 200 centimeters of rainfall? Karnataka, Kerala, Andaman Nicobar Islands and northeastern states. Among the given northeastern states and all these things, which crop is grown? You will see, you will come across only one. Even if you know one very, very dominantly, you should have got this answer right. From the second statement itself, you should have got this as pepper, Kerala. Right? That is another approach of doing it. Let's go to the next one. Consider the following trees. Which one of them also used as a pulse part of the fodder and green manure? Cowpea, green gram, PGNP. All these are part of the fodder crops, which we call it as fodder crops 1, 2, 3. Cowpea, green pea, PGNP, all these are fodder crops. The fodder crops for the animals and all. That can also be used this. Then try to answer this. Consider the following statements. Maize can be used for the production of starch. Yes. Yes. Oil extracted from maize can be feedstock for biodiesel and can also be used for using maize as part of the alcoholic beverages. Recently, you can see this maize, cotton, the food versus thing. When you talk about this growth of the technologies, when you see that the food crops are attained because of this, when you talk about this biodiesel and all these things, you have 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G. The first dimension is food versus fuel, no? Among the food versus fuel depth, it is the maize which was very much in use. That is the context of this question. So the right answer is 1, 2, 3. So the learnings for this question, now the outcome is biofuels. Understand 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G. Let's go to the next level now. Next question. Match list 1 with list 2. Major producers. You can see here, just now we have discussed pepper. You have Kerala. Then cotton, you do find Gujarat. Gram, you do find Madhya Pradesh. Pineapple, West Bengal. So if you see D3, C4, D3, C4. Okay, D3, C4 you have here. Then within that cotton A2, B1. You see, it's in repetition question, no? That is how the things are. You see, Gujarat is the foremost producer of cotton. Gram is produced in Madhya Pradesh, produced in Kerala. Pineapple is in West Bengal. Now, if you have studied today, if you have seen all these questions, can I say fairly that you got a right approach of, getting about you got a right approach of getting it right in terms of, what is the trends, what are the climatic conditions, what are the variations, which state is known for which variety of crop and all. If you have got this logic, if you just go through this 1 hour video, which you had almost right now discussing, and if you practice it from this thing itself, there is a decent amount of knowledge which you would get it for you to get into the, for you to get dominance in the agriculture part of the questions, and definitely it will be helping you. So for the topic of agriculture, go back to the previous part 1 video which I have done on May 17th. You can see in my playlist. Look that, and you also look this video, practice them, learn out of them, and then try to read the agriculture from that perspective. You will always get good marks. You will never miss around marks. If there are around 5 questions asked in agriculture, I can definitely expect at least around 3 to 4, and if the luck favors, even 5th, right? So definitely you will not be at the later stage 1, 2, no. Definitely you will be having at 3, 4 on a, I would say definitely 4. Some of you, if you do any blunder, then it will be 3. only for the blunders. Otherwise, we will be doing that 4 only. And if the luck is there, we will get 5 out of 5 correct. That is how things would help you. Hope you all have understood it. If you want the PDF file of the discussion today, you can get it from my Telegram channel. And for any doubts and all, you can always please don't hesitate to ask me. I hope you all have loved the session. You have understood this, right? Class is from 3 o'clock. Ajit, class is from 3 o'clock, right? Whether it is Gayatri, Priyanka, Ajit, all of you, Vikas. Hope you all have understood this very well. We'll come back again in the next week. Thank you. I mean, sorry, not next week, tomorrow. Every day at 3 o'clock.